Hey everyone, Dan and Phil here for Aussie Garage. Today we're here with another Dan to check out a couple of modern classics.
Let's get into it. Alright guys, it's Phil from Aussie Garage. I'm here with Daniel. Now, we're here to check out these cars. So, let's talk about this one. What have you got here?
So this is a 2010 or FG GT Falcon, the first of the new supercharged versions. So,
nice.
Whereas the older school ones, you know, they had the 5.4 litre. This has got the 5 litre Miami engine in it. Ford done version of the Coyote, or Ford Australia version of the Coyote, when they just plonked a supercharger on it.
So let's talk about how did you come about buying this car and what's the story behind it?
Right, so my mates and I, we've been into cars for years, since I was old enough to first buy a car. And he let me have a drive of his not long after he got it, and I thought, rightio, I've got to get myself one of these, because he bought his brand new back in 2010. And yeah, it took a few years, but eventually I saw this one for sale in the car lot and fell in love with the colour. It had low kilometres, 6-speed manual gearbox. So yeah, no, okay, that's the one for me. So yeah, pretty much I fell in love with the colour, as you were saying earlier. You know, it sort of changes colours in the light and that sort of deal. So,
yeah, we noticed that because we were standing at the front of the car. It looks a bit greenish, but you go towards the back, it's definitely looked more bluish.
Yeah.
So what is the actual colour of this car called?
Right, so the colour of this is Mystic Blue. That's the Ford naming of it, with the paint code MY, which is how the number plate's got. My Coyote, it's not My Coyote as in mine, it's MY for Mystic. There's not many, I think there's only 4 made in this colour, because this is the My 10, or the manufacturing year 10 was the last of them, you know, because after this is technically a FG My 10 rather than a FG Mark 1 or a Mark 2. So by the Mark 2 they discontinued the colour. So there's only 4 in this colour. And of those 4, 3 have the gold stripes, and the other one is in New Zealand.
And did you get the Ford verification letter with this?
I certainly did, yes, yep. So I've got the Ford verification letter before they stopped doing all those.
Yep.
Which is
it's a bit of a bugger they're not doing them anymore, as we know, but hopefully they start that up again.
Yeah.
Ford, get onto it.
Yeah, that's it. You know, and that verification with options, it's a one of one. So 3 others in the gold, but one's a manual, and the other one is silver stripe. The other's an auto. The other one's got silver stripes, and the other one's got cloth interior rather than in leather and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, they're a very comfortable car to drive. It's of my 2 cars anyway, this is the one the missus prefers to be in. You know, it's easier to get in and out of. It just rides smoother on the road. You know, given the low profile wheels and all that sort of stuff, you know, it's surprisingly comfortable on the road to drive, you know, even on the twists and turns. Just a nice all-round car. It's got a bit of everything, I suppose. It's a GT in the true sense, you know, whereas it's a good tourer.
The original GT rims? Or
original GT rims, yes. So everything on this car is original except for the battery and the air filter. So I've got the K&N washable, you know, reusable filter rather than the old paper filter that Ford supplied from the factory. But yeah, other than that, they're the only changes that have been done to the car.
All right, Daniel, I think that we've covered like most of the stuff on the outside of the car. So what we should do is look underneath the hood. And by the way, guys, head to our website and check out some merch. We've got some new stuff online, so check it out. So obviously we've got the Boss 335 supercharger.
335 kilowatts, and that's at the Flywheel 335. That's the Boss 335. Which is what, 450 horsepower. They've got all those, they've got what's called a transient overboost facility, so they can actually boost a little bit higher, give you a little bit more power if conditions are right, you know, like intake temp. But 335 is guaranteed across the whole range in worst case scenarios. Yeah, these are definitely a much more desirable engine in regards, well, they just rev forever. With the supercharger added, it just makes power everywhere. Yeah, and this has got the standard exhaust system on it. And yeah, it's not until you actually put your foot into it that the bimodal exhaust opens up. You get sound coming from all four, and you can actually, oh yeah, maybe there is a V8 in that, you know. It's, but just normal traffic, almost looks like another Falcon driving around. It's nothing too in your face.
It's not too in your face, but the styling of this is good, and you, like you said, you've got the 6-speed manual behind it.
Yeah, and it's not a huge supercharger, you know, like Ford Australia, they got Harrop here, an Aussie company, to do the whole plenum, and you know that looks good, and it's not a huge, you know, I think it's only like a 1.8 litre supercharger, and in stock form it's only like 5.8 pounder boost. Okay. So there's room for improvement, you know, and unfortunately that was the end of the line for them.
GTs have a long lineage of history as far as going back to the XRs all the way through to this one here. It's a pity that they're not making these, just the same as the pity they're not making the HSVs or any other performance vehicles.
Exactly right, and that's kind of changed my perspective. I don't know about a lot of the viewers and that sort of stuff. I've always been a staunch Ford fan, as you know. I've got Fords floating around here everywhere, and but at the end of the day, I couldn't have been a Ford man without a rival, you know, so that was always good. And so these days, where I used to always love to hate Holden, I've got this side of me that comes out and says, you know what, they're not bad cars. And you know, I've driven a few in my time. You know, I've got mates who love them. Even my brother, you know, he owns a GTS version of this, you know, on the Holden side. And they're just lovely cars, and I wouldn't mind getting one of those in my driveway now, you know. It's,
definitely.
Whereas 20 years ago, the idea of a Holden in the gap, no. But yeah, I've softened since they don't make either of them.
That's it. Let's go check out the interior.
Roger that, yep.
All right. Okay, nice. So definitely standard GT interior with all the leather trim and everything.
Yeah, nothing too fancy. Just the leather trim, a bit of GT embroidering, FPV on the steering wheel.
Nice. And I know they've got the numbering.
The build number 0076.
Yep.
And the big red start button that is probably an afterthought with the way it works, because you've still got to put the key in, turn the key on before you can push the button. And obviously the dash as well. So it's got the FPV in the dash and the boost gauge for the supercharger boost. Apart from those things, there's not really anything different from a standard Falcon in here. Yeah, maybe the polished metal on the foot pedals, but other than that.
And the seats are very comfortable. You lay back in this and they wrap around seats.
Yeah, no, they are very comfortable seats actually.
All right, mate. All right, Daniel, this is a lovely beast. Perfect weapons on the road.
Lovely car to drive, and yeah, it's got more than enough power wherever you need it. So
nice.
It's good fun to drive.
Now, you also have another vehicle, so let's go check that one out.
Yeah, that's my daily driver. So yeah, let's have a look at that.
Alright, Daniel, so this is your next car. Now, this is your daily driver.
My daily driver, yeah. So this is the one that I get out and about in most of the time. The GT, she's a bit of a garage queen, you know, so she spends a fair bit of time in the garage just waiting for the next club run before it comes out. But whenever I've got that need for speed or that itch to get out there and have a bit of fun, this is the car I do it in.
Tell us about how you came about buying this one.
Well, I used to have an old BA Falcon Ute, the V8 version of it, and she was just starting to get a little bit old and a little bit tired. So I always wanted a Mustang, just like I'd always wanted a GT, you know, with steel bumper, things cost way too much. But this one came up for sale in the right colour, once again with the manual transmission. If you're going to be playing, you know, automatics are great for when you're driving traffic and, you know, what have you, but when you just want something to play around in, I'm a manual person. So when this one came up, yeah, it was a no-brainer. I had to grab it. And I've enjoyed it ever since. Whether you love them or hate them, these new Mustangs, good fun car to drive and at a reasonable price as well.
What year is this one?
So this is a 2016, this one. When I first bought it, it was completely standard, but since then, you know, the bug hits, you know, so the GT, she stays stock standard, hangs out in the garage most of the time. So whenever I've got that bug, you know, to modify something, more power or different looks, this is the car. Yeah, the list is endless as to what you could do with them. Yeah, so the bonnet, you know, I've got the Shelby Super Snake bonnet on there, the 2015 50th anniversary Shelby Super Snake bonnet. RTR ready to rock front grille set, GT 500 fenders. So a bit of a mix and match of what all the big name Mustangs have, you know, depending on which parts I tend to like.
So what's the kind of future stuff you're going to do?
Definitely needs a rear wing, big wild rear wing or something a little more subtle, I'm not too sure on, you know. Obviously it needs wheels, so these are the standard wheels, but I don't want to get new wheels until I've lowered it. But in the past, having had lowered cars and that sort of stuff, I know what a pain in the ass they can be, sort of pain in the bum they can be for shopping centre car parks and speed bumps and stuff like that. So I'm thinking of airbag suspension. And that way I've got the best of both worlds. Higher when you need it for those shopping centre times, lower when you're at a meet or something like that and you just want to slam it into the weeds. People say coilovers and that sort of stuff, but if you're not going to track the car, which I very rarely will, there's probably not much point in it.
Now I know you got the Brembo brakes, just like the GT.
At the moment, for the amount of power I'm pushing, these things give you more than enough confidence. It'll outbrake the GT. GT's only got the 4-pot Brembos on it, whereas this has got the big 6 pots up front. Yeah, she'll stop on a dime. You've got heaps of confidence. So far, the only engine mods I've done, 3-inch catback with a H-pipe and the dyno tune on the engine and a cold air intake. So she's making a genuine 300 kilowatts at the rear wheel, so that's 400 horsepower. So still not as much as the GT, but it's a respectable amount of power.
That's all right, but you can still do stuff to this.
Supercharging, obviously, these Coyote engines, they're built for supercharging. But even before supercharging, there's still things, you know, like intakes, inlet manifolds, flex fuels, injectors, pumps, fuel pumps,
Yeah,
all those.
Be endless for sure.
Yeah, all those standard sort of things. But even then, from what I've been told, I'd be hard pressed to break 500 horsepower at the rear wheels. If you really want to get the power out of these, supercharge is the way to go.
And the colour of this, what's this colour called?
So this colour is Deep Impact,
Okay.
or Deep Impact Blue. Yep. And it's an original colour that's no longer offered on the Mustangs. So I think this was discontinued after 2017 or something like that. The good thing about them is that they're still making them. It's so if you want a reasonably priced V8 optioned vehicle these days, as earlier, love them or hate them, it's pretty much your only choice these days.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when's the Camaro? The Camaro finishes production sometime this month or later next month. So you won't even have a Camaro to choose from.
Wow.
As we all know, the Dodge, the Challengers and Chargers, they've gone the way of the dinosaurs. They're no longer in production. These are the only ones left.
Let's check underneath the hood, mate, and see what we're working with.
Sounds good. I'm not going to
There we go. It definitely looks heaps bigger than actually the GT engine, but it's not. It's actually still just a 5 litre.
That's right, yeah, it's exactly the same 5 litre Coyote, except it hasn't got the supercharger on it, so it's naturally aspirated.
What's the future plans with this then?
Engine wise, as we said earlier, you know, I've already done the stage 1 tune, so she's got cold air intake plus the dyno tune. Next stage will be extractors and high flow cats. After that, then I'll probably start looking at things like injectors, bigger fuel pumps, flex fuel. So I reckon if you can run some E85 through here, you'll go close to that 500 horsepower at the rear wheels.
Yeah, nice.
and then after that, that's all lead-in stuff for possible supercharging down the track.
You can also have people map this car out so they can get the ultimate performance out of it just by sitting there and mapping out
That's right.
the whole line of the engine.
And here in Western Australia, we're actually quite blessed. There's quite a number of performance shops who are very good at doing that sort of stuff. Unlike the new 2024 Mustangs, you know, where they're locked. Unless you've got permission by Ford to unlock it and work on it, there's nothing you can do to them. You know, it's maybe they'll crack the code on the.
There's
ECUs
always
one day,
people that will work around.
But for the moment,
ways,
the sky's the limit on these. It's and if you can get yourself a good tuner, then that's half the battle done.
Let's go have a look in the interior, buddy.
Roger that. Yep.
This has definitely got the classic Mustang interior.
Yeah.
They just do it well, don't they?
They do. It's actually quite a comfortable little place to be. Not as comfortable as a GT. I think the seating position is probably a little bit more ideal. Definitely all the mod cons as well, you know, with all the big infotainment system, with the Sync 3 and that sort of deal, you know, so you got a lot more features interior wise. Probably the only thing I could really pick on these, handbrake on the wrong side.
Yeah, okay.
You know, it'd be nice to have it a little bit more to us, and that'll put the drinks more that side as well, so they're not quite as much. And of course the hood release or the bonnet release still being on the left-hand side rather than here for the driver.
Yep.
It's but other than that, it's actually quite a functional interior, and everything is what you'd expect, you know. Indicators on the right-hand side instead of on the left-hand side like the Euro cars and stuff like that. But yeah.
But it's definitely neat and tidy in here. I mean, front-wise, it's great. You got a decent amount of legroom. Not sure I'd like to be in the back.
Well, I've done a couple of trips in it in the back where I've had my mates drive when I've had one or two too much to drink, and I'm 6'2", 6'3", and I can fit in there. But my head's sort of like on an angle. It's so anyone larger than say 5'8" is going to have a lot of trouble in there. These American pony cars, they're only worried about the people up front.
You got the manual, the 6-speed in these things are amazing.
Yeah, and once again, it's like with the GT, you're never going to break quarter-mile records or have much luck against a car that's got an automatic these days. You know how fast they are off the mark, but you know, if you enjoy the driving experience, you can't go past a manual. So
nice.
It's always good fun to self-shift as you're going through those twisty, turny roads.
Great. All right, well, let's go have a look at the boot.
Roger, yeah, let's have a look. Probably a bit more room in the boot than there is in the back seat.
Yep, okay, fair enough.
Someone my size though is probably going to be more comfortable in there than they are in the back seat. But it's you know, you can get your golf clubs in there, I suppose.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or a suitcase for yourself and the wife when you want to go on that holiday or something. So.
Do they have a spare tyre in these ones, or you?
No, believe it or not, these don't come with a spare tyre. So under here you've got a spare tyre wall. And what they've got in there is a goo machine.
Okay.
Where if you get a flat tyre, you pull the goo machine out, re-inflate your tyre with that to get you through to the next place. Or you can get one aftermarket, but they don't come with them as standard. Yeah, so you do what I've done instead. You just, because apparently the rear wheels won't fit on the front, but the front wheels will fit on the rear. So you just buy yourself a a front wheel and use that as a spare.
Definitely a nice smooth ride, isn't she?
It is, yeah. It does. Yeah, as I said, the wife prefers this. The Mustang, you know, that's harder to get in and out of. It's comfortable enough, I suppose, once you're in there, but the ride's stiffer and firmer. Whereas this, yeah, it's just a nice, comfortable cruiser.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? And as I said, it's got power everywhere, so it doesn't matter what gear you're in, you just put your foot on the pedal and it just comes alive.
Yeah,
Get yourself into trouble quite easily.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. All right, Daniel, really appreciate you showing us your GT and your Mustang, mate. These are lovely cars and the colours are just stunning on both of these vehicles, especially that GT, how it changes between the green and the blue all the time. It's just fantastic. These things are definitely one that you want to keep in your garage forever. And I can't wait to see what you do with this one.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, mate. It's
Appreciate it,
been
mate.
a pleasure having both of you here, and yeah, hopefully maybe get you back one day when I've done a little bit more to it.
Definitely, mate. Definitely. We're always up for that, and we're always up to revisit what people have been doing with it. So keep us updated, and yeah, we'll check it out. Otherwise, stay tuned, guys, and like, share, subscribe, and
Buy some merch.
Definitely buy some merch. Help support us so we can actually get around and do more interviews like this.